what a scene inside Bud Walton Arena tonight. An historic night. The Razorbacks beating top-ranked Auburn in an overtime classic in Fayetteville tonight.
As you can see and hear, excited Razorback fans storming the court in what was also an all-time attendance record tonight at the Bud. We have full team coverage of tonight's win. Our 5 News Sports team has been at Bud Walton Arena all night for this history-making Razorback win. 5
News reporter Michael Wilson is also down on Dixon Street, where excitement for Hog basketball fans there as well. Final score 80-76 Razorbacks. It marks the first time Arkansas has beaten a #1 ranked team since 1984. That was against North Carolina. Good evening. Thanks for joining us for your 5 News at 10. I'm Darren Bobb.
And I'm Erica Thomas. Let's start our team coverage now with 5 News Sports' Jacob Seuss and Jonathan Acosta for highlights of tonight's big game. Hey, guys.
This is the type of game that would leave you absolutely speechless, and man, it did. But it's our job to sum it up, I guess, so we're going to try. But no more than 45 minutes ago, this court was littered with thousands and thousands of Arkansas students, Arkansas fans who were celebrating one of the biggest wins in the history of this basketball program, taking down #1 Auburn. We knew this was going to be a good game. We knew this was going to be a party, but I don't think anyone expected what we saw here tonight.
What a past 5 months for Arkansas athletics. September, they beat Texas. The fans stormed the field, and that's honestly the only thing that I can compare what tonight was at Bud Walton Arena to that moment. Just a moment of pure euphoria, all the fans celebrating on the court, and what a game it was. You know, apart from the ending and the storming of the court, the game in and of itself was a fantastic game that was everything that you want to see in a college basketball game. Back and forth. I can't even remember how many lead changes and ties there were in the second half. Then it goes to overtime. The game up in the air until the final basically 30 seconds when Arkansas iced it with free throws. What an insane night here at Bud Walton Arena.
Eric Musselman said it best after the game. This team has constantly been overlooked during its 7-game SEC win streak. Tonight they made that 8, and you can bet they're not going to be overlooked anymore after tonight. They're not going to be outside the top 25 anymore after tonight. Arkansas basketball went on the big stage tonight on ESPN2, and they beat the #1 team in the country, like Darren said, for only the second time in the history of the program. First time ever here at Bud Walton Arena, and it's a moment that I think now fans outside of Arkansas are going to say, okay, hey, look at that Razorback team. Look at Jalen Williams. Look at J.D. Note, Eric Musselman. This team is legit.
Yeah, and they overcame some adversity to do it. You know, Arkansas played about as good of a first half as they could, and yeah, it was only a 3-point game at halftime. Auburn takes the lead early in the second half, then back and forth, back and forth. Usually when you're out-rebounded by about 20, you end up losing those sort of games. But Arkansas, again, just finding a way to grind out a victory, leading to that moment of pure euphoria out here on the court. Eric Musselman taking off his shirt, and he talked about it actually after the game.
When I went out earlier today, the students were asking if we won, would I take my shirt off? So I said, yeah, I'm going to do it if we win. And so we took my shirt off when I went back out and wanted to celebrate with the students. I think the big thing is anytime there's a scene like that is you just want everybody to be safe, have fun, but not have any injuries or anything. And I mean, you don't get an opportunity to be in that type of environment often, but you know, our guys deserved it.
Muss is crazy. I mean, he's passionate, he's energetic, just like the Arkansas fan base. I mean, you put those two together and it's a match made.
It really feels like they're perfect for each other. You know, the fan base feeds off of the energy from Musselman, and Musselman really seems to feed off the energy from the crowd. I mean, who other than Eric Musselman is going to go into that crowd and celebrate with his arm in a sling? You know, only Coach Muss, and Arkansas 9 wins in a row, and they look really good right now.
And coming up in sports, Jonathan and I will break down some of the X's and O's and how Arkansas was able to knock down Auburn tonight. But live on the court at Bud Walton Arena, Jacob Seuss, Jonathan Acosta, 5 News Sports.
What a night, right? You can feel the energy. Continuing our team coverage now, 5 News reporter Michael Wilson is live on Dixon Street. Talk about energy with fan reaction. Hey, Micah.
Hey, Eric, I'm here at Bud Walton Jr., or JJ's, here on Dixon Street. There was no need to be at the arena because they brought the game day atmosphere right here. I mean, anytime the Hogs scored or maybe got a rebound, you could hear the room erupting with loud applause or just screaming. Surprised a lot of them have their voice even right now. I mean, we've been sitting here for 5 minutes. We heard them play Celebration as well as We Are the Champions. Fans singing along, excited about this Hog win. It was a big win for the Razorbacks.
I'm feeling great. We're all feeling great. How about you, boys?
That same energy there before the game.
We're gonna win. We're gonna win.
That's a dub. You can't stop the Hogs.
During.
Hey, go Hogs, baby, go Hogs!
And after the game.
We defeated the #1 team. We're about to go in and face Alabama next Saturday in their Coliseum, and we're going to bring it home to them.
Not only fans excited, but businesses.
We're expecting a large crowd, hopefully, when the game lets off, you know, maybe we'll get the overflow of some business here.
BAM food truck manager Felipe Cerna says when the Hogs win, they win. That's why they opened up on an off day.
We opened because we're expecting a huge crowd from the game, you know.
The Hogs' big win has fans excited, but a bit confused.
We're not ranked for some reason. Why aren't we ranked? I don't ask me why. We should be. We will be after this game.
And for Bama, these fans have a message.
Coming in hot and heavy. We coming in hot and heavy. Let's go Hogs!
Bama, those fans are ready for, you can see behind me there are fans walking around. During the game, I can tell you, we saw a lot of cars on here, not a lot of people, not any traffic here. Now, after the game, we see people walking around, bar hopping, finding places to eat, supporting businesses. They are excited. I know last night they were camping before the game. Unfortunately, they were told to go, but they were prepared for this win. They were ready, and they finally got it tonight. We're live here in Fayetteville, covering news where you live. Mike Wilson, 5 News.
All right, Micah, thanks. Not a bad night at work, right? We'll check in with the 5 News Sports team a bit later for more highlights. And, of course, you can view all of our coverage on the free 5 News smartphone app and over on our website at 5newsonline.com.
Well, the other big story of the day, what a nice day outside today. Weather-wise, it couldn't have been better in both the Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. This is at MLK. Not a lot of traffic. I guess that whole thing has gone by the wayside now that the game's been over with for a while. Matt is joining us now to tell us we do have another 3 or 4 days of some nice weather.
We've got a lot of good news in this newscast,
right.
I'd say, here at 10 o'clock. Hey, Darren, did you see Eric Musselman's excuse note that he wrote earlier on social media?
Yes.
Yeah, now he's going to have to write one for tomorrow morning because we're all too excited. We're not going to any sleep, right? We're sitting in the 40s and 50s area-wide so far. Now, right now in Northwest Arkansas and Fayetteville, still holding on to a 51. So you saw those folks, I mean, you may need a light jacket, but you're so excited you may not even realize it. Temperatures aren't that bad. We got some southwesterly winds up to about 10 miles per hour through Rogers and Elm Springs. We're sitting at 48, 52, not bad right now in Fort Smith. Coldest spot east side of Kavanaugh Hill, reporting in Poto. We got mostly clear skies, but there is a cold front towards our north. Will be just a touch cooler tomorrow, and a lot cooler, though, this weekend. That forecast is coming up.
All right, Matt, thanks. New tonight, Colby Fulfer, now senator-elect in Arkansas. The Republican beat Democrat Lisa Parks by a very slim margin today. Just 34 votes and less than 1% separated the two. Tonight's special election was to fill the state Senate District 7 seat vacated by the resignation of Lance Eads. Covers parts of eastern Washington County. Voters in Oklahoma overwhelmingly approved 2 bond issues and a sales tax extension. Voters in Sallisaw say yes to extending an existing half-cent sales tax to build a new swimming complex and skate park there in town. 80% voting in favor of that issue. That tax has been on the books for 10 years. Construction on the projects could begin sometime early next year. Meanwhile, voters in Vian approving a bond issue to build a new high school. More than 83% voting in favor there. The $9 million project will replace the existing high school that was built back in 1995. And in Spiro, a bond issue approved to allow the district to accomplish about 15 different projects. It passed with more than 80% of the vote. The biggest, replacing 3 school buses that are about 30 years old. Projects also include installing security cameras in elementary schools in town.
New at 10, the husband of Vice President Kamala Harris had to be rushed out of a Washington, D.C. high school today by Secret Service after a bomb threat. Doug Emhoff was at the high school to help commemorate Black History Month when his security detail hustled him out of to his motorcade away from the school. The building was evacuated soon afterward. The Secret Service says at this time there is no indication the threat was directed at the second gentleman. Taking a look now at COVID numbers here in Arkansas, active cases continue to drop down 70% from the peak of the Omicron surge just 2.5 weeks ago. Roughly 30,000 people are currently sick with COVID. Just under 3,000 cases added in the last 24 hours. Hospitalizations and those on ventilators both fell today. Deaths increased by 28 overnight as we approach 9,900 statewide.
Several veterans whose cremated remains have been sitting for years at a local funeral home will soon be laid to rest. The Missing in America Recovery Project, it's a nonprofit group that was started in Idaho back in 2006. One of the organization's volunteers found a Fort Smith funeral home had the cremated remains of 55 unclaimed people. Well, after extensive research from the organization, they discovered 5 are veterans. 1 is a spouse of a veteran. Those 6 will be laid to rest at a funeral procession at the Fort Smith National Cemetery in March. Volunteer Gina Gustafson says it warms their hearts that they're able to do this.
Being in a veteran family like we are, even though we're not veterans, that's all we care about is making sure that the veterans get what they deserve. They put their lives on the lines for us, for our freedom, and they deserve way more than this. So we're just very humbled and grateful that we're able to do this and give them a final resting place.
The organization is still in the process of working to see if more of the remains belong to veterans. They invite the public, meantime, to come to the funeral service at the Fort Smith National Cemetery March 4th at 11 that morning. Coming up, spam emails. We all get them, right? Well, some are easier to spot than others. Our Verified team has some tips to help you spot these phony messages.
And coming up later in sports, we'll continue our team coverage from Bud Walton Arena of tonight's historic Razorback win, taking down #1 ranked Auburn at home in overtime. What a monumental victory. Our sports team was there for every minute of it. We'll have highlights and reaction ahead at 10:25.
Temperatures tonight will probably hit freezing and then maybe go a little bit below as you're waking up tomorrow morning. But we've got great weather the next couple of days. That forecast is coming up.